Sean McCabe. Welcome to the show. Hey, welcome to the Johnny McCabe Show, where it's all about accelerating your authority in your business or field of expertise. And we do that by helping entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed on any device, anywhere, anytime in as little as 15 hours, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Today's show is the entrepreneur's journey, where a successful entrepreneur shares their story of how they got to where they are today. Now, we'll take that journey down a path of an entrepreneur from the very start, encountering obstacles, overcoming challenges, reaching out for help, and breaking through stronger and wiser on their way to reaching their version of success. My guest today is no stranger to adversity, challenges, or hardships. From the age of 19, Joey Ragona built his very first company, making it a worldwide success by the time he was 23, while at the same time reaching celebrity status as a club DJ, and music producer. A career that ended up spanning over 22 years. When I met Joey around 2011, we were both enrolled in the same mastermind group. Now, it just happened to be comprised of more than 50% real estate investors at the time. Now, just like myself, Joey was focused on building and growing his real estate investment business. Now, he focused on joint ventures, working with other investors, and educating them to build a successful real estate investment business. Now, over the past few years, Joey has transitioned himself, his business, and who it is he works with. Now, Joey's a trusted advisor when it comes to new world marketing strategies and implementation. He is also an in-demand high-performance coach and email digital marketing consultant with a proven track record, and is behind the success of small business owners and entrepreneurs because of his national level of connections and business skills. Now, Joey's an immediate implementer and spares no expense to personal and business development, spending his time training exclusively with some of the world's highest achievers, including Brendan Bouchard, Frank Kern, Rich Schefren, and so many others who are recognized as being the top in their field. Joey then shares what he learns from these greats and passes on their sets of tools, beliefs, systems, and strategies with his current coaching clients. Now, his coaching clients are typically creative entrepreneurs, small business owners, and online marketers who already have an established business. Typically, they're both decisive, action-oriented, and committed individuals who want to build a true business that serves them and their lifestyle without working 18 hours a day or sacrificing their lives to do it. But for so many of them, changes need to be made into their business and their life in order for that to happen. And that's where Joey steps in and excels. So don't go away, because when I return, I'll be joined by my good friend, Joey Ragona, who's going to share with us his entrepreneurial journey. Hey, thanks for joining me on today's show, The Entrepreneur's Journey, where we talk with a successful entrepreneur about their journey through some turbulent times usually. We'll hear about some of the lowest of the lows, the highest of the highs, and everything in between. So strap in, because today's going to be one hell of a roller coaster. Today I'm fortunate to have Joey Ragona join me on the show. Joey and I met probably back in 2011, I think. I'm terrible with dates. So when we both joined the same mastermind. Now, even though we're in different markets working on different things, we ended up actually taking a very similar path, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Now, at the time we met, we were both in real estate investment, being very successful in the strategies that we were focused on at the time. From there, we both went on to help other investors in our own way, and eventually transitioned into helping entrepreneurs as well as investors. Now, with more than 30 years experience as an entrepreneur, Joey built his first company at the age of 19. It went worldwide when he was 23 years old, and simultaneously reaching celebrity status as a radio and club DJ and music producer, a career that lasted over 22 years. Joey's a trusted authority when it comes to new world marketing strategies and implementation. He's also an in-demand high-performance coach and email digital marketing consultant with a proven track record, and is behind the success of small business owners and entrepreneurs because of his national level of connections and business skills. So everyone give it up with likes, loves, shares, and a virtual flurry of thumbs up and heart icons across the screen for my guest today, Mr. Joey Ragona. How you doing, Joey?
Excellent. Couldn't be any better, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, thanks. Thanks for joining me on today's show. It's going to be a good one.
It is. You bet. You bet. We're going to rock this out.
Yeah, we're Wednesday show for all of you who just joined me and not familiar. Wednesday is all about the entrepreneur's journey, where we get into what made the person they are today through their entrepreneurship, the struggles, the challenges they've had, and what it's taken to get to where they are today. And along with that come a lot of learning experiences, and hopefully we'll touch on a few of those today, so you can benefit from our entrepreneur Joey's experience and 30 years as an entrepreneur. That's a long time, Joey.
It is. Yeah. It's been a long ride. Been a fun ride.
Excellent. Now, first thing I like to do before we get too far in the interview is a speed round of questions.
Okay.
It's just a series of 10 questions. Nothing you had to study for. I'm not going to grade you. There's no pass or fail. It's just so the audience gets to know you a little bit better. So really just the first thing that comes to your mind. So as always, I'd like the audience to play along. And what you can do is when I ask a question, just type your answer in the Facebook chat and just play along with Joey just to see how your answers compare to his. So are you all set?
I think so. I'm ready for it.
All right. So name the book that impacted your life the most.
You know what? It was Guerrilla Marketing.
Okay. When you were a young boy, who was your celebrity crush?
Can I have two?
You sure can.
Okay. I don't know who's going to remember this, but Phoebe Cates was one.
Okay.
And Marie Osmond.
So what's Phoebe Cates known for? I recognize the name, but I just can't picture her in anything.
You're going to know her from now you stump me because I can't remember the movie. It was Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay. Yeah.
You know the girl who gets out of the pool?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's her.
All right. So do you currently work with any coaches? And if so, who are they?
I do. So I'm working with Rich Sheffrin and Frank Kern.
Excellent. Two great guys.
Yeah, awesome guys.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's awesome.
You want me to go right down to the actual, the clip?
No, it's good.
Detailed.
Other than your own, the masterminds that you facilitate, are you currently involved in any masterminds?
With Frank, it's kind of a mastermind as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, the answer is kind of yes.
Excellent. Name a person, either dead or alive, who you would most like to meet and have dinner with.
Ooh. I'm kind of a current event type of guy, like whatever's going on in my life. So realistically, the guys who I'm dealing with now, the Joe Polishes, the Rich Sheffrins, Frank Kearns, I'd love to sit down with these guys and just have dinner off the cuff.
Excellent. So what's your favorite type of vacation, beach or adventure tour?
Beach, definitely.
What's the best business advice you ever received?
Best business advice. Wow. That's a tough one, man. Best business advice. I think it would just be to actually stop going after every single opportunity and focus on one thing, build that pillar out first, then build all the next ones.
Yeah, are you an entrepreneur that chases shiny objects or rabbits?
I used to be. I'm pretty good at taking that advice now and actually giving that advice. So that would probably be the best advice I ever had.
Excellent. And the very last question is a two-parter. What's your favorite? Is it, I don't mean what you consume all the time. Out of these, what is your favorite? Is it water, beer, or wine? And pizza, wings, or salad?
Okay, so I don't drink, so it's water.
Okay.
Definitely. And chicken wings all the way, bro.
Excellent. So, Joey, for those who may not know who you are, can you give us like the 60-second Joey Ragona origin story about how you got to this point?
How I got to this point. So I've been an entrepreneur my entire life, really. So I worked with my dad. I don't know. I started at maybe 9 or 10 years old in the warehouse type of thing, and ended up having my own business at 18, 19 years old. And that's the real quick story of how I got to where I am. And then from 22 years in the business there, I went back in to take over my family company, and from there sold that and went into real estate, and from there couple years later, got into to coaching and doing exactly what I'm doing now. So it was, that's the rapid, I guess, answer to your question.
Okay. So actually, I have a couple of questions in chat that I'm just going to touch on before I actually get to my questions. So
Sure.
Laura actually wants to know, what's the biggest challenge as an entrepreneur? So this is well actually, I'm going off script here. Normally I just get into your story, but we'll go off script for a couple of questions here. So what's the biggest challenge that you see an entrepreneur having?
Okay, so I would say that the typical answer would probably be fear of the unknown and all that, right? But from my experience working with entrepreneurs all of this time, the fear is really a manifestation of a disbelief in the entrepreneur. So they don't really believe in whatever it is that they want to go forward. So when you don't have a belief in what you're doing, you probably position it as fear. So I would say that the biggest challenge with anybody is about belief. And so the way that I got to where I am is because I always believed that I could get to where I wanted to go without knowing how I'm ever going to get there. So fear, it's not that I'm not afraid of things, it's that I just don't really give a shit about it.
Exactly. Got a couple more questions in here. So we may as well just get to these questions.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
One of my good friends, Tanya, wants to know, starting out as a brand new entrepreneur, what would you suggest first? Now, that's a very open-ended question, Tanya. Maybe if you could get a little bit more specific with that question, then for me, one thing that I would say is you really need to be crystal clear on your ideal target market. So before you start anything, start marketing, start building anything, you need to do the research, understand who your ideal target market is, what are their pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions, what's their desired outcome, what benefits are they looking for. You really need to get detailed into that before you take any kind of step. I don't know what you think, Joey.
Yeah, that's kind of along the same route. Like, really, when you're looking at entrepreneurship, a lot of people, and I've failed at this many, many times in terms of saying, like, hey, this is a great idea, and I'm sitting around the table with my family and going, what do you guys think? And everybody's like, yeah, it's really great, but the market didn't really want it. So I failed a lot of times putting things out into the marketplace, and that's one thing that I would caution anybody who's getting into the marketplace by going, hey, I want to market this and convince everybody that they kind of need it.
Yeah.
Whereas you go out into the marketplace, into a space that you love, that whatever it is, you could be, I don't know, making buttons for dolls. I don't know what it is, right? But if there's a market for that and you Google it and you say, well, how many people are searching for this one thing and it's easy for me to teach, that's where I would really start. Where's the niche that I fall into that it doesn't really take a lot from me? And that's one of the biggest, actually, as I talk about this, and I apologize for being ADD as I answer all my questions, but it really was a big saboteur in my own mind, that the things that were easy for me, I felt really kind of guilty charging other people to do it. But one of my coaches, like Frank, he was the one who actually convinced me to say, listen, if it's easy for you, it's hard for somebody else to do. And it took me 45 years to get to that point to realize that. And so if I was giving you advice, I would really think about that. What's easy for you to do that is in demand in the marketplace and that you could position yourself to be an expert in?
Yeah, she got a little bit clearer. Looks like she's starting a coaching business. So I think what Joey said, combine those two things. Even if it's a coaching business, you still need your clients. So obviously you need to understand who your clients are to effectively reach them, to understand how it is you can help them. Because as a coach, that's truly what you're there to do, is you're there to help your client. You're not there to sell them your stuff.
Right.
You're there to figure out what are their challenges and how you can help them overcome their challenges to reach whatever goal it is that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, so as coaches, so what was her name again? Was it Laura?
It was Tanya.
Tanya. Okay, so Tanya, I'm not sure because I can't see the feed here, but if you're going to be a coach, then a lot of times they want to follow somebody who's been where they want to go, right? So they're following that. So hopefully you have a lot of experience in whatever you are coaching, and that's kind of the challenges that I have with a lot of the coaching space is people go through quote unquote coaching programs and learn these kind of scripts and all this kind of stuff to try and move people along, but they have no innate ability inside them to really read people, to listen to what people are saying on the other end of the phone, and if they don't follow the script the way it is, they're all screwed up. So hopefully that's not you, and you can actually read people, and it's just an ability that you have.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Okay, so I apologize if I brutalize anybody's name. I'm going to make that crystal clear. So Salama asks, how important is it to work with a coach?
Truly important, and here's my number. I'm just kidding. Yeah. It's absolutely truly it's so incredibly important, and of course John and I are biased because we're coaches, right? But it took me 40 years to actually get my ass into a seat in front of a coach, and the reason it's so important is because the coaches challenge you, and it's you've probably heard that before, but here's the thing. On a challenge, sometimes it's not that the coach, at least the way that I approach coaching, it's not that when I'm challenging somebody that I'm always right. It's the job of the coach is to challenge and give you different perspectives so you can do one of two things. One is look at the new perspective and see what you're not seeing, or two, really stand up and defend the position that you're in to prove to yourself that that is where you should be, or the purpose you're going after, or whatever that is. The challenges are there for a reason. But the most important thing is that coaches are able to see, if they're really good coaches, what I said before about the intuition and all that, right? If they're really good coaches and they're willing to challenge you, they give you different perspectives. Would you agree, John?
I completely agree with that. And I feel that if you're looking at hiring a coach, which everyone should do, even if it's for personal reasons or professional reasons, you need to ask some questions. You need to really understand who it is that you're talking to. So you need to be crystal clear. And that was actually one of the questions I had for you, Joey. That's I'm just going to actually bring up right now. So, when would someone know or recognize they need a coach, and what are some of the things that they need to look out for when they're thinking about hiring a coach? So what are some of the questions they should be asking that potential coach? So it's as much about them interviewing the coach as it is the coach interviewing them to see if they're a good fit. Yeah.
I don't know if I really have a structured answer for that, because when to know when you need a coach that's a really great question. And I didn't really know, to be very honest with you, that I needed a coach. I was just following the advice of other people that were telling me you need to get a coach. Yeah. And when we joined the mastermind back then in 2011, to be honest with you, John, it was all about, hey man, my desk is a mess. I just need somebody who could help me organize my desk. Okay. Really, I'm paying $30,000 for somebody to tell me how to organize my desk. And you know where it all went. I mean, It was totally had nothing to do with that. But that's it was just like, I'm going to do this thing. So I honestly didn't know that I needed a coach. I just felt as though I should go get a coach. So I don't really know what that answer is. A lot of my clients, if I can use their experience, tell me that they get to the point of their life where they are completely overwhelmed, and they're working 18 hours a day, and they no longer have a life. That's the point of break for them. They just realize, looking in the mirror, that they no longer have a life and they want it back. So maybe that's it. I mean, I don't want people to get to that point. I really don't. I think that the ability to go out and find the types of coaches that are out there now is a lot easier, because there's a lot of great streams and interviews like this where you could listen to some dude and go, what, I like his vibe, right? Yeah. And if you're going to find a coach, I really don't know what the questions are that you should ask somebody, because I'm all about intuition and feeling, and the way that I do coaching is that if you don't like what I'm doing, I don't have a contract or anything like that. It's like, listen, if I'm doing good, you stick with me. If I'm not, then you fire me, type of thing, right? So
Exactly.
I think that a coach should also give you some sort of guarantee, right? If you're a coach and you're not willing to step into what you believe, and somebody's paying you $1,000 a month or something, and that person goes through 2 or 3 weeks with you, or even a month, and says, you know what, I'm just not feeling this, whether it's their fault or not, it does not matter, and you're not willing to give them back their money, I think that there's something wrong there. That's just my opinion.
So another great question that came in from Salama. How long should you give yourself and save for before you can expect making money? So I'm assuming that they're talking about how long do you give of your service to other people before that you start charging. I'm thinking that's what I'm reading into the question.
Okay.
So
as a coach?
That's what I'm reading into the question. I don't have any clarification.
So I'm all about, and so are you, John, about giving constantly.
Yes.
There comes a point where yes, you do charge for your services, but I mean, my prices have increased. I was just telling John before the show, and three times in this past year alone. It's not because I think I'm the greatest coach in the world. It's just because I want to get to a certain point of an income stream for me by reducing the amount of people I have to really work with, so I can really position myself, not position myself, but actually use what's up here to really help people. Because if I'm, trying to coach and mentor like hundreds and hundreds of people for small amounts of money, my energy goes really, really quickly. So that's the personal side of it. But I don't even know where I was going with this.
Well, just let me jump in there. One thing that I have a challenge with is because of my nature, I'm such a giving person that I just want to help everybody. So just in a general conversation, I'll just start coaching them about what they should do and the strategies. And it takes a lot of conscious effort for me to stop doing that and to basically, it was a difficult decision to value my time.
Right.
If we don't value our time, definitely the other people aren't going to value our time. So I've been very conscious about conversations that I have, and very diligent about expressing to people that here are my rates. If you want my assistance, this is what I charge to help you with the strategies or whatever. But it actually, for someone with my nature, it's very difficult to actually stop that. I have to be very conscious about stopping my verbal diarrhea of wanting to help people.
Yeah, so that's where I was going, and thank you for that, because that's exactly how we operate. And even before the call, I was telling John that I can't take my coaching hat off, and sometimes it gets me into trouble because I just can't stop coaching. But a lot of times it positions me as an expert because I'm not even trying to get a sale. And so my position is that when I do free things like a mastermind and have 8 or 10 people in the room, they're paying for the day to be there because there's food and all that other kind of stuff. But I'm paid $500 an hour at this point. They're not paying $500 an hour to be there. They're in the room for 12 hours with me, and I'm giving my time. I'm giving them exactly what they need in that space, and there's never a sales pitch. But if you look at that, Salima, then I think it's Salima, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Salama, I think.
Okay, Salima or Salima, however you want to pronounce
Salima,
tomato, right?
You could be right. Like I said, I'm brutal.
So the way that I look at this is that if you're with me in a room for 12 hours and I'm really helping you, my biggest philosophy in marketing these days is that it's all about demonstration now, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's about big promises. We could copyright and say, hey, lose 10 pounds in 5 days, but you need to demonstrate things to people now because they're so used to these big things. So my biggest selling position is when I actually demonstrate to people. And so if you're a giving person, Salima, then you're out there talking to people and you know what you're talking about and you're really great at talking and you're never about the sale. You're just about helping somebody. That's when you get the sale, because that person is in a position of their life throughout time. And it could not be at that point where they have the money to pay for you $500 an hour, but you've helped them along the route. And then maybe 2 years down the road, they're going to come back to you, or they're going to tell somebody else about you. That's the way that my philosophy is.
Yeah, exactly. And let's go to the next question. Tanya says, great answer, John and Joey.
Thanks, Tanya.
Oh, and Tanya, because I still believe you're in Edmonton, Tanya, connect with me after the show, and why don't you come on one of my Thursday shows, Thursday's Hot Seat Coaching, so you can come in and get free coaching for an hour just by agreeing to be on my show. It's just that
All right.
easy.
Wow.
So
can I do it too?
Yeah.
I'm going to come on your show and get some coaching.
So Tanya wants to know what your website. Tanya, everybody, what we'll do is at the end of the show, we'll post all the links for everything that we talk about and how to contact us, contact Joey if you're looking for more information. So typically after the show airs, we put all that information in there.
Yeah, when you go to my website as well, Tanya, there's what I talked about in terms of strategies and everything. I don't want to plug anything here, but there's definitely free strategy sessions in there where I don't do any selling whatsoever.
Yeah. And Tanya is actually a hypnotherapist and life coach.
Awesome.
So if you come on my show, Tanya, there's no hypnotizing me, okay? Don't be making me stand up and cluck like a chicken or anything.
She's doing it right now telepathically.
Yeah, she's like, we keep talking about her, so we're good. Salima. I'm gonna go with Salima. I like your
Salima.
version. I like your version better.
Which one is this? Is it Salima? Just type in yes if that's the one. Are we pronouncing it right?
Yeah. Okay. So, have you ever had to stop coaching someone because they were not a good fit?
Yes. I've fired 2 people already because of that, and the answer is yes. Yeah,
for whatever reason, because Joey and I actually talked about this before the show as well. Is we're because of our the type of individuals that we are, we like people that are they're self-starters. They're people that actually have some drive and ambition. They're more entrepreneurial type people versus the ones that are trying to be entrepreneurs, but really they're employees. So they're much harder to either motivate and I'm not a motivational person. You either come to me because you want to get from A to Z and you want a strategy and you want structure and you want processes to make that happen. And you're okay with just me telling you what needs to get done and you going off and doing it. But if you want me to chase you to go do it, that's never going to happen.
You're exactly right, my friend. And I'm going to put this out and say this. I've never said it live before, but I believe that entrepreneurs are not made. They're not created. They're not taught. I think that entrepreneurs are born. They're either born or they're uncovered. And that's because of all of the stuff that I've been through in the last, when did I start really officially coaching? 2011. So almost 5 years now. Okay. Just being in that space, exactly what John just said. And I ended up chasing a lot of people and trying to convert them into my way of thinking, understanding that they weren't entrepreneurs. Now, that being said, it does not mean that you can't run a business if you agree with what I'm saying, that you're not a born entrepreneur, you don't have the innate ability to look at entrepreneurship the way that we do. It doesn't mean that you can't run a business. It doesn't mean you can't go and have a Subway restaurant or something like that. You could learn to run a business, but in my mind, that's just my opinion personally, you cannot be taught to be an entrepreneur. I want to work with born entrepreneurs or someone who is in the corporate world or another job or something like that can be uncovered, because I can immediately spot you and I'll be able to pull that out.
Excellent. And you were correct in the pronunciation, Joey, so you win that. You win the award for the pronunciation.
All right.
So, we give out awards for pronouncing people's names right on this show.
All right. I get a John t-shirt.
That's right.
I pronunciated this right.
Another question from Salima is, if you're starting out as a coach, how much should you charge per hour?
As much as you want.
as much as someone's willing to pay you.
Yeah, exactly. What do you value yourself at? I think that here's how I would answer this. Okay. The first thing is not about the money that you need to charge. It's more about how much do you want to work first. So you got to position your business first and say, well, I want to coach X amount of hours per day for X amount of days. And you got to set your life up first. Then you have an income goal, whatever it is, and then you can figure out how many clients you need and how much you need to charge. That's how I would do it. I would back it out.
Yeah, you work it backwards, same thing. So if you want to make $1 million a year and you want to work X number of hours per year, figure out what your hourly rate is. And that's how you come to the number of $500 an hour, right, Joey?
Exactly. Exactly.
Which is ironically the same amount that I charge.
Yeah, well, mine's gonna be more now, upcoming to hit another income goal. But yeah, I mean, think about it, John. Like $500 an hour. I mean, I don't know very many lawyers who even get that, right? But we're doing a big service, and you see, that's the block where a lot of people have is like, well, geez, am I worth $500 an hour? You know what? If you have knowledge, and you can actually help somebody and get results, that's what it's really about.
It's about the results.
It's all about results. Like anybody can teach methods and books, and I can go back here in my shelf back here and pull a book and start reading from it and pretend that I know what I'm talking about. But if you can't get somebody results, you're screwed. So I can charge $1,000 an hour. If I'm getting you the results that get you a client for $2,000 and you're paying me $1,000, well, hey, I'm worth it, aren't I? I just got you a client that's worth $2,000, right?
That's right. And so Tanya has agreed to come on the show on a Thursday, and unfortunately, she's not going to promise that she won't hypnotize me. So you could be seeing me cluck like a chicken on one of the future episodes of the John A. McCabe Show.
Don't you do that naturally anyway?
Just in private, Joey. Tell people that stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That was supposed to be in the room. Nothing leaves this room.
Yeah. This is remember, it's a secret conversation that I end up telling the world. Laura says, awesome. Checking in Thursday for that. So Laura wants to know when you're going to be on, Tanya. So you and I need to get together and book a time. Salima says, how long do you usually ask people to commit to work with you?
I don't have a commitment, Salima, because I believe that, again, it's about results. So if you were in a coaching relationship with me, the commitment would be for the 1 month, right now. I mean, I would love for you to be with me forever, as long as possible, because honestly, I really want a family of people that I want to work with, because it really unites a lot of people. Like in the VIP that we were in, John, like we were a family, right? Yeah. And when one person wasn't being accountable to stuff, everybody hounded the person. And I like that kind of atmosphere. That's what I really want to build. But going back to the question, it's like I can't make anybody commit to doing anything, which brings me to the point of why I've kind of shifted who I really want to work with, because I don't spend my time convincing people anymore. No. Like, it's all about how do I get further into my business, and actually my clients have stayed longer now because of the shift in who I really want to work with.
Yeah, you're dealing with and attracting your ideal target market. So Joey's done his own exercises to figure out who does he want to work with. Where are they in their life? What challenges are they faced with? And what is their desired outcome? So he's really got crystal clear on who that person is. I bet you if we ask him, he'll be able to give a name to that person who's his ideal target market, and he could tell us every single thing about that person. So all of his marketing information, all of the copy that he writes, everything he communicates is for that type of person. So that's who he's attracting into his business.
Exactly. You're exactly right, John.
And let's see, some more questions. So we have Haiti Gardner has asked a question. Joey, what's the worst thing that can happen in your real estate investing that has almost stopped you from moving forward? If there was anything at all, what did you do to overcome it?
That's a difficult question for me, because I'm trying to step into the fear, because like I said at the beginning, I don't have the fear, and I'm not trying to make myself sound any better than anybody else. I guess the one thing that I think it was when I first started investing, and I focused on rent to own at the time, and it was something that I believed was really easy, because I didn't follow a system. And I know, John, you have an awesome thing about rent to own. It's your main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't find I didn't really follow a system, but I found the tenant easily and the product and the property and all that stuff. But it basically went to hell in, I don't know, 8 months or something like that. And I ended up pretty much, I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make any money. And it really opened my eyes to systems in real estate. So if there was any point, that would probably be the point where I would have thought maybe this isn't for me. And maybe I thought that for a day or two. I don't know. Maybe I sulked a little bit. And then I just said, you know what? I'm just going to get back up and do something different that fits into my life. And that's why I got into the buy and hold thing.
Yeah. And I've pretty much stuck with the one strategy. I know all the exit strategies, and I've done all of them, but I focus on one core thing, which was rent to own. And trust me, some of them went bad. I ended up in court, but I just shoved it off and just kept going. I didn't stop. I didn't let those obstacles get in my way. And a true entrepreneur just keeps going. Doesn't matter what happens in their in their professional business. They just get up, dust themselves off, and they start again. Whether they lose it all, they lose millions. I've had people on the show that have lost multi-millions several times, bankrupt, and they just dusted themselves off and they started something else, and they've become successful. That was actually a few weeks ago, I had Trevor Crane. He had gone through some of those things, and now he does helps people with books and has a great business doing that. But he's a true entrepreneur. He's been knocked down many times, lost millions, got right back up, started again.
Yeah, I think that when you're talking about when you're going to get back up, it's always connected to the core why, and that's another big buzzword of what's your why. But truly, it really is about that. But I don't think a lot of people really know what that why is, because they're connected to the money. They're connected to, I want to get out of my job, and that's all good. That you might, your why might be, well, I hate my job, I don't want to go to work. I don't really think that's what it is. I think that there's a deeper level, and one of the techniques that I use in my coaching, and you could do this very simply, is ask yourself why 5 times. Yeah. So if you say to yourself, my why is that I just hate going to my job. The question is why, and then you answer that why. And the sooner, 5 or 6 levels deep is the true reason of why, whatever it is. And that'll really help you to get back to that. So when you get into an adversity or you hit the wall with real estate or something, you're going to go right back to that deeper why of this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah. So we'll move on to Tanya's question. If you don't have a commitment date, how do you do any forecasting? So I'm referring. I guess she's referring to a client. If the client's not committed for a certain amount of time, how can you forecast or help that client?
Oh, okay. So I guess I answered it the wrong way. We do forecast. So I go through there's a 3-month commitment in terms of where they're going. So in other words, I'll do 3 things with them. We give a big vision goal, which is 3 years out. Where do you want to be? And then we chunk that down into 12 months, right? So in the next year, where do you want that to be? And then we chunk it down into 90 days. Like, it's a standard chunking down of where you want to be. So there are goals that are all set out. What I was looking at in terms of commitment is if I do that with you, we spend half a day doing that. And within the month, if you say, you know what, Joey, you're full of shit, I don't like you anymore, then you're not committed to the next 3 months with me. I don't want you to be paying me if you don't like me or think that I could help you. That's what I was going with in terms of the I guess the official commitment. But in terms of laying out your path, it's all laid out for you. And here's the other thing that I really want to stress. At least with the coaching that I've been through, when I talk to a client, I could chart out exactly where you're going to be in 3 months in terms of your mentality, in terms of your engagement and all that kind of stuff, your commitment level. I can tell you where that's going to be. And there's only 2 things that are going to happen at the end of 3 months with me. 1, you're going to be closer to your goals that we've set out, right? 2, you're not going to be anywhere closer, and you're going to be further away from those goals. Here's the thing that I want to stress. A lot of times people would say, well, you know what? You're not doing your job because I wanted A, and I'm nowhere closer to this. Here's the point. Throughout those 3 months, all the stuff that was coming up, that were the excuses and the bullshit of not doing the thing to get them closer to A, came up. And what happened was they figured out that what they said 3 months ago was no longer important. So I did my job even more because I figured out in 3 months, this is bullshit for you. It doesn't mean anything to you. Let's refocus and reestablish what you really want. You follow? And that was another big block for me going, geez, I'm not doing my job right because I'm not making the move. Well, yes, I was. I was pinpointing that, hey, man, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? And they would get these excuses of why.
Yeah, we all
figured out that wasn't important.
Yeah, we all have choices in our life. And if it's really a priority, then you'll make it happen. Because let's face it, a lot of people don't like getting up in the morning. But you know what? If I said, okay, well, I have an all expenses paid trip for you to Hawaii, and all you got to do is get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make that, private jet, then people will actually do that because, it's something that they want, right? They'll make that choice rather than sleeping in until 8 or 9 in the morning. So we're all faced with choices every single day, and it's how you actually handle those choices and what you feel is a priority for you in at that point in time in your life. So you may say today that you want, this X business goal or whatever, but if you're not following that up with the choices you make every single day on a consistent, persistent basis, you're not going to move that needle anywhere near that goal.
That's right. That's right.
Salima, again, do you make people sign a contract, air and emission insurance coverage? Joey?
There's no contract. No.
No, me either.
I don't believe in contracts because what am I going to do? When am I going to take you to court for not paying me for coaching? I
don't even take people to court for real estate stuff.
Yeah, it's like, you don't want to deal with me. It's all good. I mean, there's a disclaimer that, I can't make you make $1 million and stuff like that you can't turn around and go, well, you promised me all this kind of stuff on my little application thing. But that's pretty much it. I mean, and the people that are coming into my life now, they're not there to screw me. They're there to actually get results done.
Exactly. Salima wants to know, how long is the show? Well, typically, Salima, the show's scheduled for 1 hour. I book the guest for 1 hour, and that's typically how long it goes for. Is there a replay? As soon as the show is done, it's actually loaded. It takes probably a minute or so, but it's available on the Facebook page, The John Anthony McCabe. So if you go to facebook.com/The John Anthony McCabe, you'll actually make sure you like that page because that's the show page, and you'll get access to this video as well as all the previous 40 episodes that have already been aired. They're all unedited, and all the edited versions will be made available eventually on the website johnamccabe.com. We're just not finished uploading, probably about 2 weeks, 20 episodes behind in uploading videos to that site.
Very cool.
There's a lot going on to put this show together and everything that goes along with it. So
it is, man. I honor you for that, man. It's a lot of work, brother.
Salima wants to know if it's a good market for rent to own. Well, I'm not sure exactly where you're at, Salima, but in my opinion, rent to own is good. It doesn't matter if the market's going up, going down, or going sideways. There are always people who don't qualify for a traditional mortgage today. And on the other side, there's always people who can't sell their home today for a number of different reasons. And so typically I like to do what's called a sandwich lease, is where I work with the homeowner who, for whatever reason, can't sell the home today. They either can't afford to sell it because the bank's going to take a huge penalty. They bought with less than 5%, with 5% down, and when they add on CMHC, they're pretty much 100% financed, and they own that home for less than 10 years. There's really not a whole lot of equity that builds up because, as you know, the bank takes the majority of the mortgage payment as interest right up front. So every time you make a payment. So in a lot of those cases, people just can't afford to sell their home, or if they do sell it, they're going to end up losing all the down payment money that they put into it. So there's always people in those situations, and there's always people who make great money, just can't qualify for a traditional mortgage for whatever reason. So with our process, we have credit coaches, mortgage brokers, but in our opinion, because we do our business from BC to Ontario, we're in probably about, 15, 18 different cities across the country. So we're operating in all those spaces. Even in hot markets like Toronto and Vancouver, we're still operating, we're still getting leads and opportunities. So hopefully that answered your question. And Tanya says she likes the no BS approach. So
good stuff.
I'm not,
That's all you can get
she's
from
probably
me, man.
referring to you because
Yeah.
she knows I'm full of shit.
Yeah, man, that's just how I operate, man. I even asked him before, is it okay that I could just be me, or I have to worry
Yeah,
about being myself? And
there's no censorship on this show.
yeah, bro, I would have run all the way through, man.
Yeah. So I don't see any more questions. Does anyone else have any specific questions for myself or Joey?
Didn't you have any questions for me, John? I mean,
I had all kinds of questions, but a lot of them actually, because it is your journey. So we were wanted to talk about, from how you got in, how you started to getting into what you do today. So a lot of those, we didn't get into the history questions. That's okay because we gave people what they wanted. People
exactly.
wanted to, had specific questions. So we did our best to answer their questions and speak directly to the audience who's out there. I think which is more important than me asking a bunch of predetermined questions of what I think people want to hear.
Yeah, they don't want to hear about me, man. It's about them. Like, you guys ask the questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah. Tanya wants to know, how present are you on social media? Well, myself, because of this show, I'm trying is a terrible word to say. I am being diligent about posting on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook daily, and I upload these videos to my YouTube channel, as well as we make cuts and edits. So this show will actually turn into probably five, 6 different clips, because that's all part of my authority acceleration formula, is doing one thing and repurposing it for so many other things. So a lot of stuff we'll do is this gets all uploaded to my YouTube channel as well, and clips as well. And then what will end up happening, because the time commitment, I didn't think there was going to be so much time commitment to doing this show. So once the first part of the season ends, which is the end of November, I'll be going on hiatus for 2 months. So during that 2 months, I'll be extremely active in social, posting clips, episodes, doing blogs, ton of content, because for me, it's all about delivering value to your ideal target market. And for my formula, it's every 1 hour of content I create, I need to spend 10 hours of distribution and engagement. That means taking that content, distributing it out there into the world in all different mediums, not just video, not just audio, but blog posts, as well as on social, linking all back, cross-linking, cross-channel marketing to all the different platforms, and then engaging with people. So not only engaging with the people who connect with me, but going out and finding people who have similar interests and engaging with them and giving value to them. I think that's very important. So that answers my question on social. How about you, Joey?
Yeah, I'm totally not as active as you are. Like, you've got this whole plan in place, which is awesome. I'm more of a sporadic type of social guy right at this point. I'm on, every day. The strategy that I have right now for social is that everything that I do on social, I would say 97% of what I do and post and answer and all that stuff is strategic. So I'm going on and I'm answering on other people's posts, or posting things that are aligned with my clientele that I want to bring in. And it works really, really well, because I get a lot of private messages and I do a lot of chat coaching and stuff like that. So it's not the best strategy. And like I said, it's sporadic. So sometimes I'm on Twitter, it'll be there for like a whole week sometimes, and then maybe I won't. But for me, I'm a lazy dude, right? So I just want to spend a lot of my time, focusing on how I can help my clients. And the way that I do that is just by going on social media, different points of the day, answering a couple questions, giving my opinion, whether people like it or not. And then the right people read it, they like it, and they attach to me or come to my mastermind or something like that. But that being said, in the new year, there will probably be a more strategically, committed type of plan on being social, like whatever it is, that not to the degree that John has.
I believe you need to use, if you're going to use social, be very strategic, and it's a consistent, persistent thing. So don't expect, and don't be out there trying to sell somebody on something. You're out there to give value, to educate, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to create the content, the show. So it enables me to create so much content that I can just deliver so much value over a period of time. Just from doing this one show, I'll have so much content, video pieces, clips, blog articles, all kinds of stuff that I can then deliver value on a consistent, persistent basis, day in, day out, but being very strategic, not on there shopping on Instagram, looking at things I want to have or dream about. It's very strategic and specific. On, you do what you need to do, you get off, next one. On, you do what you need to do, get off, next one.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. Like, consistency is really it, and that's why my social strategy is not the best in the world, because it's not consistent. That's my ADD kicking in. Like, it's really cool now, and it's not cool anymore, or I'm bored of it or whatever, right? So I need to scale back. And really what I'm going after is a more targeted market. So my social media strategy will be more on paid advertising and getting people directly into my funnel, bringing them to the value that I have on my website and stuff like that. Whereas I don't want like all these channels and things like that. I know how to do it in terms of the technical parts of it and how to distribute it all, but I've just found that I've become very bored of it, and I'd rather just create content and helping people like on a different level than what John's doing. So I don't think one is better than the other.
No.
It's just like who you are and how you can be consistent. Like, I think that's the most important thing, is because a lot of my clients will say, where should I be? Should I be on Twitter, Pinterest, and all this other kind of stuff? The first answer is, well, where are your customers? It doesn't matter that Gary Vaynerchuk is awesome on Twitter and everything else, but if your customers aren't on Twitter, then why would you be there? Just because it's awesome for somebody else doesn't mean it's awesome for you, right? And the second thing is, well, can I consistently do this? Am I going to get bored of doing this? And a lot of the social media, like what John said, you're not going to get immediate returns. And that's one of the biggest things where, going back to what I said about the entrepreneur, is if you're not an entrepreneur, you won't get that. You're like, dude, where's the return on this? I've spent a week on Twitter and I got shit. But an entrepreneur will go, hey, man, this is going to be like a 2-year run for me. I get this.
Yeah.
Follow?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't see any more questions, Joey, and that's all the time that we actually have today. So I personally want to thank you. Actually, we should schedule something and do this more on a consistent, persistent basis. Have you on and just maybe on some of my Thursday coaching shows, and just bring you on as a regular guest on some of the Thursday shows. I don't know what your schedule is, but we can just spend the entire 1 hour just doing what we did today, just coaching people, which makes it so much easier for a show. Trust me. It's a lot less planning on my part. So I would I enjoy and love the interaction that we had today. Joey, I want to thank you for being on the show. I want to thank everybody for all the questions. If there's anything else that we can answer, just type them in and tag either Joey or myself. We'll connect with you. Joey's going to put all of his links in the comment field. If he doesn't, I'll put them in. He sent them to me. He has some free giveaway stuff as well. You can connect, link with those and get some of his information and determine if Joey's the type of coach that you want to work with. Great. And but if not, but regardless, Joey, I loved having you on the show, and definitely let's connect off channel here, and then let's figure something out moving forward. If you want to be a semi-regular on the show, on a Thursday coaching show, I would definitely like to do this again. This is what I plan for my Thursday show, is this exact type of show.
Wow.
It just made it so much easier when I find the show. It's so much easier to do the show when I have somebody on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
You have that interaction. You have a co-host or whatever. There's that interaction back and forth, because I don't always have the right thing to say or something to say, but when there's two people, it makes it so much easier. And plus, you get two different opinions.
Exactly.
So it's not like
my opinion is always right.
Yeah, it's not like we agree on every single thing, but we just come at it from different angles, because we have, we've gone through different things in our lives, and we've been educated by different people. We've been educated by a lot of the same people, but we understand a lot of the same strategies, but we just may have a different approach to it. So I want to thank everybody for being on the show, and just stick around because I'll be right back in a few seconds with the closing remarks. But Joey, I want to thank you so much again for being on the show, and I'll catch up with you here very shortly.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and all the questions. It's been awesome. I honor John for you doing this. This was a great experience for me. I'd love to be back on the show. Take care, everybody.
Well, thanks for joining me on today's John A. McCabe Show, where we work with entrepreneurs, business owners, authors, experts, and speakers get seen, get heard, get noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. Now, also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, if you're someone who's looking to take your business to the next level and want to get some coaching advice, why not apply to be a guest on today's show? Now, for most entrepreneurs, we want to create a life of our own, create our own path, and do what we can to reach our own desired outcome, which is generally freedom. Freedom to choose what we want to do, when we want to do it, and with whom we want to do it. A life that's full of options and choices, where we worry less about money and more about the quality of time that we spend with others. Now, a great way to make that happen is to leverage other people's knowledge, time, and skill sets. Step one to reaching our freedom life is to realize that you can't do it alone. Working with a coach or being involved in masterminds is a great way for entrepreneurs to move their business forward. Now, a coach can help you shorten the time frame to get you from where you are to where you want to be, while being part of a mastermind is meant to bring entrepreneurs together, all with the goal of helping each other move forward with their business. Now, the second step to creating the life you envision for yourself as an entrepreneur is to implement systems into your business so you can streamline your operations, leverage systems, and free up your time to focus on your family, having fun, and the highest leverage activities in your business. You know, the activities that get you the biggest return on your time invested, the ones that truly make you money. Now, sometimes we just don't know what systems we need, how to implement those systems, or even have the time to find out what is needed. Now, working with a coach or consultant that understands, uses, and specializes in systems that can streamline your operations can help save you time, aggravation, and make you a lot more money. Now, for example, having a system or strategy that allows you to leverage just 15 hours of your time into enough repurposed content to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device is a great example of leverage. Now, just imagine a system where you invest just 15 hours of your time, and the end result is you're a #1 best-selling author. You have enough content that's going to get you seen, get you heard, get you noticed anywhere, anytime, on any device. You have a successful podcast. Now, it's automatically attracting more attention, giving more value, and generating more leads, which enables you to attract an abundance of paying customers. Now, this is also known as the Authority Acceleration Blueprint. Now, to find out more about the Authority Acceleration Blueprint coaching program or mastermind, then contact me via my website at johnamccabe.com or connect with me through my show's Facebook page. Now, again, thank you for joining us on today's show, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's show when I have another great guest on discussing their business and accelerating their authority. So have yourself an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.